Hello, welcome back. Last time I did share, the normal way at least. There's definitely also a paradox in here, so I've added it to the list for later. I'm gonna go to a new puzzle. Borrow. Crystals are mostly what I want, so I'm gonna focus on new crystals that I can maybe get. 3 chests. Oh. Okay. Immediately overwhelming. So I found the crystal. It's here. Oh dear, yeah, there's a lot going on here. Okay, so if this is wet, the entire thing floods, and that block floats up. So does the one down here. I get a jar spot, I get a permanent block. This chest is a different chest, so nothing to do here in this C shape. I gotta dry it out. Oh, where's this? Okay. Unless I get a whole lot of blocks out, which I can't, because I have one top level and one permanent. Or I make like a dry jar somewhere? Yeah, I can make a dry jar somewhere. Let's start with some jars of air, which I can just do. But can I get back from a jar of air? Hold on. Yes, easily. Alright, I'm just going to make a few jars of air. That sounds like a useful thing to have around. Let's make 3 of them. I probably only need 1. I might not even need 1, but I don't know. I'll make 3 for playing around. Alright, pile of objects here. So let's dry this room. Right, like this. Permanent key requires block to access. Okay. So a block must come here. Oh, this loses me this chest. Unfortunate. Okay, got it. And I could have taken this block along, I think. Yeah, there should be a way to do that. Right, so what's in this chest? Ooh, black! Way the heck up high. Okay, so this one has to be wet. Alright, so let's see that room wet. I can trivially get back here with any number of objects while wet. But, like, coming down here is a commitment. Yes, okay, so making this wet involves this. Okay, well, I can get one of these. Is there a reason to care? Well, probably. Do I know that reason? Not right now. Okay. And no amount of blocks would ever get me back from here once I'm down here. And I can only take 1 object down here. Once I'm down here, I'm down here. So the Oobleck is the final object I use to get this done? Okay, so Temple of the Oobleck there must be wet to extract. How is that ever going to help me? What? Oh dear. So, okay, so then working backward, let's assume that chest on the left is something I want to interact with. Therefore I want Oobleck. It needs to be wet for that, therefore I need to bring to it a jar of water, therefore I have nothing else in my hands and can't get back anywhere. So there's probably something more to it than that. In here is the crystal. This room needs to be dry, and I need to come in with a key. Really, I need to bring a key into a dry jar made from this chest. Okay, bring a key into a dry jar manufactured right here. So if I can get my hands on a key, then I can just take it into that jar and be done with it. Great. Where do I get a key? In here? Yes. It's enchanted, so only ever 1. Okay, so if I were to get up there and touch that key in the dry and deposit it on top of this block, when I would return to this room, it would float down from here down to a place where I could grab it if I was in the wet, and I could take it out. Okay. This is a lot of stuff. Oh boy. If I could extract that chest from its little prison down there, I could make infinite oobleck over here, which is a pretty powerful tool. I probably can't extract that chest from its prison down there. Okay, so in the interest of working on not too many things at once, let's get a dry jar out of here, and I'll take 2 just in case I need them. Hold on, there's another chest. Two doors, 1 enchanted key. Oobleck can make more keys, potentially. I haven't seen what's in that chest yet. I can just do that with a couple of blocks here. I tossed that block down already. Well, okay, I'll restart. I appreciate that I at least get the ability to explore real quick here. This comes with its own little pool of water. Oh, it's this again. Why another of these? So unlocking that door lets me take an object along. I would probably take this down here. I am currently stuck, I know. No, I wouldn't. I don't want this wet. Not until I'm ready to retrieve the key. Okay, so let's see if I can somehow get my hands on that key. Hold on, so this here is that chest, right? Yeah, so those are the same. You know, it'd be a mean trick. In this game, you could totally have 2 rooms that look the same but are actually different rooms with like different enchanted objects in them. Why would you do that though? Okay, so I'm saying a sub goal of mine is to extract that key. Reasonable. I've already determined how to do that. I think I can just do it by taking this jar full of air and this block along. Problem. Block doesn't come along. Okay, so put the block in with the jar full of air. I can't get it up there. Okay. Put a jar full of air in the jar full of air, then the block is not with it. Okay, so this is weird, but I think I might have a route to this. Air jar with nothing special in it. No, air jar needs that block, and that's the problem, isn't it? Huh? Hold up. What am I trying to do? I need a dry place to put that chest down there, which I just have on that ledge. Yeah, I can dry that out whenever I want. Okay, so I can get the key with no additional tools other than just this one block. That's the only extra one I need. So I come here dry with the block. Ah, but the problem is I can't jump into the chest here, because this space is too small. Okay. To do it with a jar, the block will already have to be in a place that's accessible from where that chest is. Okay, well let's make it the other block then. Okay, sure, that's fine. So I jar this. I'll take that along because I do actually need to do an operation in here now. The operation of moving this block down here so that it's accessible to where I'm getting the key from. Next, this chest, which contains the key, into the dry jar, where I get the block. This does not just get me the crystal because I can't actually get the key from here. All I do is get it to a place where I become able to access it. I'll take this back out because it's useful. Probably. Now if I make that chest wet... Oh, how are you going to do that? I guess by getting the second one that's also in this room. But don't I need a key for that? No. Well... but the... Oh, okay. I'm getting something here. Multiple things. Okay, so let's ditch that chest. I've made the state change in there to move the key to a place where it will fall when I make that chest wet. I'm going to test that part of this. I don't have any dry jars left. Is that okay? No, it's really not. Can I make one? No, not anymore. Okay, so what I would do is exit this, go to a place where it's dry, bring that one extra block in there, and use the two to get up to the key chest in the wet. Get the key out to this room. Just kind of leave it there. It is permanent, so that's fine. I'd come back. I'd jar up this room, bring in oobleck. Oh, isn't that a solution? Okay, so I just need 2 air jars here. A lot of stuff just happened at once. I'm not going to remember all of it. But I'll do what I can, and hope I can derive the parts that I've already forgotten. I did it once, so I should be able to do it again. So... I need this wet in order to move this block down here. Okay, so now I have access to it in the dry. I have access to the dry from either of these 2 jars. What's this block's role? It doesn't have one yet. It will soon. Okay, so this chest goes into one of the dries. This comes in here so I can move the key. This all looks good. I don't see the flaw in my plan yet. Maybe there isn't one. Alright, so I put this here so I can get it back. That chest is a sacrifice, but there's another copy of it in the upper right of this room, so that's fine. I think I am missing an ingredient, like the final one that would actually let me get the crystal, but I'm somewhere decent. Okay, so I go in here to reposition this thingy. Okay. Thunderstorm outside, power flickering. I'm gonna make a little pause here just to preserve my progress in this recording session, just in case. Alright, preserved. So if I lose anything, it'll be from this point forward. Okay, where was I though? Distractions, I don't like them. Alright, so I sacrificed that chest in order to reposition the green key. I have this second dry jar. Got a problem. Okay, the problem is this block cannot make it up. One of my dry jars needed to already have the block up here alongside the green one. Okay, great. So we're redoing that anyway. So dry jar number 1. Gotta preserve this one. This block is right here. That's an important bit of state. Okay, so don't touch that jar. Feel free to touch this jar. And I need to go in here to move that first. You go down. I do too. But not yet. Not this way. The jar I can touch is this one. Block goes in here. Key gently moves over there. This thing comes back with me. Now I note that what I'm doing here is only like 2/3 of the puzzle at best. There might be a whole lot more beyond this that I haven't fully conceptualized. Okay, so in the wet, I reposition this block. At some point I'm going to want a wet jar with the oobleck, but this is not that point. I need to change the state of this room some more first. It needs to be dry. Wait, but it needs to be wet for the oobleck. Oh wait, what? Okay, I need a third dry jar with some stuff in it. I'll worry about that when I get to it. I think I can see how to get forward from here. But let me do what I've done so far. Okay, so I want to just enter this as it is. Unencumbered, I can jump up here and access this chest where my enchanted key should now be retrievable in the wet. Ah, but then I'm in this little water pit. Oh, that's a problem I did not foresee. So yeah, I got a key now. But it's at this point I already need the oobleck in the room. Okay, that's completely reasonable. Sure. And that ties together everything else. Alright, so I got this. Great. Now, what are my steps? 3 dry jars. Jar number 1 contains the top level block. Actually, that's jar number 2. Jar number 2 contains the top level block right here. In, like, usage order. So this is jar number 2. Here's jar number 1, without the block. And now here's jar number 3. I'm gonna situate this. Yes, oobleck in my hands is fine because I don't need the key until I'm all the way down here already. Okay, so this is my victory jar. I almost went too far right there, but I pulled it off. Okay, so victory jar just sits up on this precipice. I'll be taking it over to the left when everything else is set up. This is so cool! So I need to enter this. Unless I'm missing something, which I may well be, I think this is a path to a solution. You go in jar number 1, which is this one. Right? Yes. I think? I hope? Yes. So yeah, puzzle has a lot of elements in it. But by, like, Drod puzzle complexity conventions, that means it's an easy one. Not always a reliable rule, but more often than you might think. Okay, so next, relocate enchanted block back up here. Takes a while to do that. Now I'm done with that chest forever, I think. Go into this dry jar here. Jar number 2, with the extra block in it. No, there is no jar number 3. Jar number 2 is jar number 3. Right, this was the mistake that I made. Okay, so here's jar number 1. Jar number 2 is going all the way to the oobleck chest. Really? You sure about that? How's the oobleck chest gonna get wet? Isn't that a problem? Because jar number 2 is dry. So this block here... No. What? Uh-oh, I have a problem. Let me get as far as I can get with what I know, but I think as far as I can get is as far as I've already gotten. So sure, that's jar number 2. This goes into jar number 1. I do the standard operation here. At least it's quick to pull off when I know what I'm doing. Problem is, it turns out I don't quite know what I'm doing yet. Hey, look at the spot. Huh. I'm here. I did it. Right, okay, next step. Move that back up. Yes, okay, move that back up. This part's slow. So I could make a wet jar here right now if I wanted, but I don't think I will. So here's what I do. I have a solution, actually. I bring this dry jar in here and put it inside a wet one. I think that works. I think that works. Because, yeah, everything's in place there and I can reach it. It doesn't really matter where you are. The place where I'm going to want to use you is, well, it doesn't matter, but I'll put you there. And then jar this up. I fall faster than a jar. Don't go into that jar. So this is what I take to the Oobleck chest. Alright, does this do everything? So you go to the Oobleck chest. Chest comes with me. In here in the wet, I get the Oobleck out. I'm gonna have to pick up some objects, though. Could I have avoided picking up objects? I don't think so. Okay, well let's take this as far as it can be taken. I'll take the Oobleck, I guess, just to get it. So that's cool. This goes in here. And theoretically sits here and turns into a key. I could have done some tricky positioning. I maybe could have done some tricky positioning to just naturally make a stack of these two blocks over here. But that Oobleck's gonna turn into a block now. What'd be best is if I could have jarred it up, which I could have done by... could I have... With another layer of jar, I think maybe I could have. Wait, so what's the idea? Okay, so let's pretend that Oobleck is going to stay Oobleck. It won't, but I'll pretend. I have all this set up. I can come over here and in the wet get my key. Okay, well I could have gotten my key and opened this door and then I'd have a block there instead of Oobleck. So watch out for that platforming, it's tricky. So what's the extra layer? If I bring... If this chest is inside one of its own jars, in what state? In the wet, I think? Yeah, okay. So I think I just missed a step of bringing this chest into one of its own jar, but I can't create a jar from that. Oh, that's a problem. Okay, so the thing that needs to be brought to the Oobleck chest... is definitely a jar that in some way contains water and also all of the other elements I need to complete the puzzle. So what do I need? So bringing Oobleck into a Oobleck chest into a jar It's going to end up down here. If this were wet with the chest that contains this room in it... Oh, this is hard to think about. Alright, so this is jar 1. Let's make a jar 2. I can't cause these to be stacked on each... Oh, I might be able to. With the water slowing down the descent of the block, yeah, I might be able to. Alright, so if that's jar 2... This goes down here for now. I don't touch jar 2. Yes, this is alright. Is it? Maybe. Probably. Let's assume it is. So you go in here. Do the key shuffle. So, now... That chest is gone, which is fine. I never need it again. So here's where the key step comes in. While it is wet in here and I'm repositioning this. If I do a good throw here and then exit, it looks like I do make it in time for those two blocks to naturally stack on top of each other. So this saves my oobleck, but I'm not done yet. Now... Or am I? Wait, maybe I am. If I just take this in here... okay, so I need to do the block setup. Ooh, well, I'm jarring. That's not possible. Okay, so do it later. That's fine. So jar first, and then... Okay, so I put this in here. Alright, so the purpose of this exercise right here is to jar this air jar in a water jar. Alright, so this is the water jar. That'll come to the oobleck area. Then I go back in here, redo that little operation. I'm gonna do that again. Yeah, that was a bad one. Not sure I can do that good enough. Okay. Mash a button. Let's see how well I did. Terrible. There's no way those blocks are gonna stack. Doing this in the dry would be worse. This settles too much. I don't think I can make this happen. No. Okay, so I have a settling problem here. Alright, that's about as good as that's gonna get. But I have to go through the water here anyway, so maybe I can reposition it then. I don't know, it's vaguely plausible. Yeah, so that's in the process of settling already. No, there are problems here. So I can get the oobleck, but I still have things I need to handle. I don't know what the rule is for, Oh, and I also have to handle that chest up there to get it into the water. So yeah, the oobleck isn't safe in here either way. And yeah, enchanted block's just gone now. Okay. So no, that's no good. Well, not sure. Rain's picking up again, so I'm giving myself another checkpoint here. Alright, so the question is, basically, how do I get that oobleck into a jar down there? Yeah, that is the question, because then I can handle the green block, and I must handle the chest anyway, so there's no balancing the green block on top of this one, like by getting it in flight, which wasn't going to work anyway. So I'm glad I don't have to do it. The only way to get the oobleck into a jar is to have this chest along. So this has to be in one of the jars that one of the jars that I bring. How many layers deep? If the chest is in there alongside... It can't be alongside anything, though. I can only take one object in here while I'm manufacturing a jar. So that object needs to contain all of the state at once. I note that there's a little water pool here. If I have this chest with me, and this door ends up unlocked, doesn't that mean I can manufacture new water jars here? And I'll have the two blocks here at the same time, so I can get them over this lip. Okay, so maybe I make a new one. Alright, so let's see if I can get this chest together with... So it would need to be in one of the jars that I bring. Okay, so the inner one, then. But the inner one is impossible. It'll have to be the outer one. Which is fine, because that's what I wanted anyway. I think. Something. Okay. Alright, so jar 1. Jar 2. Jar 2 just looks like this. Jar 2 goes over here. I move this. And then what? Do this same old operation? So this means I'm taking jar 2 into what will become jar 3, which contain... Wait, no. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I still have a conflict here, don't I? I think so. Like, I've solved a lot of problems here, but a final one remains. And yeah, okay, so basics of this final problem are that I can only take one object over this little jump as far as I can see. Therefore, it must be a jar containing all of the state of what I need here. I can put one of these two objects into that chest, but only one. So I actually needed to keep that block out at the top level, but no, I didn't. Again, the block is one of the objects in the jar. For the chest to also be one of the objects in the jar would require me to take two in here at the same time, basically. Jar number 1 had no object in it. There isn't some magical way jar number 1 could have this chest that contains this room in it, is there? No, I gotta go into that chest multiple times to do several operations, and a lot of them need to be wet. So I'm right back in this situation I was in before. If I take this in here, that's cool. That preserves the state that I. Yeah, like this is as many resources as I know how to get right now, and this can come up here, by the way. Just be kind of like there. Yeah, so this is the best I currently know how to do. Nothing for me to do here. No reason to come in here. So that jar up there is dry and contains the non-permanent block. The oobleck needs to exist in the same space as other stuff. So bringing this chest deeper is fine. I can pull the oobleck out of the... Oh, it's so close to fine. If I could bring this chest into that jar and get it over this obstacle... I'd be good, but I can't. Right, I think I can't. Because then it could go in the little pool of water over there. By the time the door is open, it's too late. Unless I had another one of those chests over there. Well, no, that's false. I would already have used up the key, the only key that exists. Duplicating a jar would do me no good. Duplicating... Oh, that's interesting. It doesn't work. I was thinking of duplicating that chest over there. I don't think that's any good. Yeah, my need to handle objects prevents me from bringing oobleck here. And I don't have that chest that's residing in the water pool on the right anymore. If I'd put it in the jar... Well, would I just have the means to do everything? I'd have no water. Well, what if that jar was wet, then? Then how does the block come in? I don't get it. Yeah, so I can't bring both the block and the chest into a... Can I? No. No, I can't. Is there anything I can do right now that'll bring me at all closer to the solution from this state? It's not like this is enchanted or anything, or I could, you know, do this. I can make more oobleck. Thereby duplicating a block. Now that's a little bit more interesting. I can make another block at this stage. Yes, this solves it. It might be one step short, but it does get me closer. So if I make 2 extra blocks, Watch what I can do with them. Maybe there is block stacking involved. 1, 2, 3. By stacking you up here, you go on top of the existing block that's there when I enter that jar. But the problem remains that I have to handle that chest on the right. If I have 3 blocks in that room, though... then I don't have the oobleck chest. What if I take the enchanted block in the oobleck chest? Okay, so... shoot, not what I wanted to do. Wasn't I holding down there? Hold on. Is this... So you're telling me that if I'm on the exit and I'm holding down and I press action, I exit instead of dropping my object. That's unfortunate. Alright. So that was my input, just not being interpreted the way I wanted it to be. Okay, so... got lots of new concepts here. So I can manufacture infinite oobleck in that situation. I still have a one-object limit of actually going into the jar that I bring. But that frees me... yes, that frees me up to not use... Well, what's this top-level block for, then? If I'm not bringing this along... Am I really not bringing this along? Okay, well, let's see how far I can get without bringing this along. I mean, I'll pop it down there, sure. This would mean... Oh, no, this doesn't work at all, does it? Because I'd have to jar this chest earlier. Is that true? Yes. No, there's... Okay, so my thinking was if I can duplicate blocks deeper in, then I don't need this at all. Therefore, I free up that bit of bandwidth to bring this chest right here into itself, which involves going into a jar and bringing it into the jar, and then I can't jar out of that state. Unless it's wet. Right? Hold on, but how would it be wet? Okay, so here's a question to answer. Can I get back to the top level with a jar that contains this chest? Do I know a way to do that? Let's make a dry one. Here. Make a wet one. So I need to bring this chest into one of those. Let's say the wet one. I think that's the only one that works for this. With this here... No. No, if the chest that contains the jar spot is not permanent, then I can't put the chest into its own jar and get the jar back out. Okay, so nothing involving that can happen. Therefore, I will never have this chest down there. Okay, so just prune that from any attempts at a solution. So this chest is staying in that water pool down there. A jar comes across down the cliff. I can only manufacture infinite oobleck in a wet room. I can only get a maximum, therefore, of 3 blocks tall right here. 1, 2, then a third that I would make of oobleck and take in. Which does not on its own help me. I still feel like the point of doing that is... Okay, so I didn't finish the thing that I was doing with, like, causing the green block to be stacked on top of... Okay, so here's jar number 2. Stacked on top of the existing block there. Here's jar number 1. Here's the chest I'm going to be using a little bit and then abandoning. That's the idea. Do I need a water jar of this? Not of this. So these steps, simple enough. Next up. There are plenty of places I can just sort of hide this block away if I want to. I don't think I want to, though. I think I'm going to keep it. So this moves back up here so I have access to it in that section. I exit, I use the bandwidth that I've freed up to bring this dry jar in. This is all very familiar. I guess this goes down here, which is fine. This comes along, that gets left behind. Yeah, so that's as far as I've gotten. Chest goes in jar. Duplicating a jar is not too helpful because I don't actually get any more jars. I just reposition one, basically, and get a spot to dispose of permanent chests to Paradox. But that's about it. So, with unlimited Oobleck duplication right here, right now, here's the thing that I can do that's potentially of some interest. I get this out. I toss it over there. I get another. I also toss it over there. And I turn it into a block. So that lets me stack you up on top of that without handling you. Ah, I see it. I see it. This is a full solution. I wasn't thinking of hiding the right object away. Alright, so I was here this whole time. So I take this along. No. No, the Oobleck doesn't actually come over that ledge with me. No, this is not it yet. Whoa. I'm holding left right now. Those blocks become completely solid in water on the bottom and top, so no swimming up through those. Yeah, this puts me down here, that's the problem. Oobleck is trapped down here. Yeah, I can get here without handling any objects, but then... Okay, so what I actually have to do is to have visited this room in the wet at one point after having visited it in the dry. Because then that key would be down there, I'd exit with it, it would Oobleck. Yeah, Ooblecking this chest is no good. Because it doesn't contain multiple keys. Okay, so I just have to cause that key to sink at some point. Okay, so a goal comes into focus. Make that key sink. That would kind of render that one little patch of water, over there to the right kind of pointless, which does make me suspicious of it as a solution. Makes me think there isn't going to be a way to do that. I think I needed another air... Okay, so hang on. So what are the steps for this? I take this into here. Got it. Maybe. Yeah, seems reasonable. Okay, so hang on. So I can do these same steps. Here's jar number 1. Gonna do a different operation with jar number 1. Here's jar number 2. So with jar number 1, I'm gonna put you inside the wet here. So you actually come in here and join this block. All of us go down here at once. And I jar this. That's the one that I take this into. Okay. I don't know about this at this point, but maybe... why am I moving everything up here? That doesn't do anything for me. No, I still lose... I need it the other way around, and I can't have it the other way around. Or can I? Yeah, so the problem here is that I can't observe this room in the wet after doing the dry thing. Like, I'll take this... Oh, hang on. I can put this in now. That's interesting. 1 additional dry jar. I think I have something. No, I need a wet jar and a dry jar, and I can't have that. Unless I sacrifice the chest, and I can do that because I don't need it anymore. Okay. So, wet jar in dry jar. So here's the dry jar that I'll use to make another one. I guess. No, how's that going to happen? Oh, I don't know. Here's just an additional dry jar. I'm doing this the opposite way of how I usually do it. But here is the one that contains the thing. I'll know because there's only one of them. Alright, so at some point that has to happen. Now, what operation could I do to create a situation where I have... Basically, I want to bring this through dry into wet. So I would take this into a container. That container is dry, so I can do the key operation. Then I would take it deeper into another jar, because I can't exit with it. And that jar would be dry. So I just need to take one of these spare dry jars in here. No, it's not that. I take this chest. Oh, but don't I need that chest? Yeah, let's just make an extra water jar. All I need it for is to reposition the green block. So here's an extra water jar. Okay, jars are getting confusing. So those two are the same thing. This one is my extra operation. This is the one that's going over the cliff. So you live here. I have this extra water jar for further operations. The first dry jar, this chest goes into. But that just makes another dry jar. No, this isn't right. And I can't take that jar anywhere anyway. So no, definitely not that. Alright, well that chest is gone. I think I can still go as far as I had gone before, but yeah, so you need... Dry inside wet. I think that's impossible. Seems like it to me. or to be able to get you back out to the top level again. Which I can't do. Right? Objects don't stay there. Ah. Okay. So, another idea. Yeah, alright. I might not have lost this just yet. Well, since I lost my chest, I did. If I... So all I'm doing is operations on permanent objects. It's fine if I lose that chest that's down below me now. It's fine if I lose this one as long as I have all the jars I need to take over there. Only one object comes along with me. Because I can manufacture more blocks... No, this one jar is still real important. But maybe that's okay. This is hard to think about. I'm still pretty convinced that this is the jar I'm taking over the cliff. It's the only one that makes any sense to me. What else do I need? I can only make one other thing here, pretty much. I'll just make a couple of them. Let's make 3, just in case I need 3. So here's a stack of 3 dry jars. I don't think I even had a use for 2, but I'm gonna make 3, just in case. Like, that's the only operation I can do from here. So, now... this operation's still totally reasonable. After this, I need... I had the idea of taking this chest into this one instead of a jar. I could jar this up and bring a dry jar in here, which is extremely interesting. Maybe that's what I do. Yeah, that does give me some extra bandwidth. Okay. So use one of these dry jars here. Cool, this could be good. It's not. It's still the other way around. Wet needs to be jarred and dry, and that's impossible. I can put this in here now and free up my hands. But I need to get this back to wet, and it's just not coming back to wet. It needs to be dry and then wet again. And if I ever take it to dry... It's like I need to go into that chest when it's... Okay, I can exit this and not have lost anything too precious. It's like I need to take this chest into this chest while this chest on the right is dry. And I think there's no way for that to happen. I need to observe this dry. And then observe it wet. But when I observe it dry, I lose it. So yeah, a wet jar in a dry jar is the only way to do that, and the only way I can make a wet jar in a dry jar is to have this chest in the dry. I can have it in the dry by bringing it into one of these, but then I can't bring something else with me. I can't put anything else in the final jar that's coming with me. Okay, yeah, so this little snarl here just doesn't seem to have a solution with the tools I have. So either I'm looking at the wrong thing or there's like some edge case I'm not seeing here. This must become dry, then become wet, and that's impossible. I can make it dry after wet, but I can't make it wet after dry, right? Once again, making this dry... If only I could just enter the chest like that, it'd be good, but I can't. Making this dry means taking it into a dry jar. Taking it into a dry jar means I lose the chest. Like, it's all I can do. My block's not with me. Oh, yes it is. It's with me in here. Oh, that erases it. Oh! This demonstrates my intended solution will not work no matter what. Oh, okay, you know what? This was extremely valuable knowledge. The permanent object I parked up there did not ride the elevator down with me because it's inside it. Okay, so I was trying to do the wrong thing all along. Got it. Alright, with that information, I'm gonna say I have no idea how to solve this puzzle. Alright, and leave it at that. Good. That was some good exploration. I have a firm dead end on the line of reasoning I was taking. And I couldn't have quite done what I wanted to do anyway, it seems. Alright, well that's what happened. Okay, cool. So that's borrow. I'll probably try low tide next time since that's a new thing that I can look at. And then if this opens, I'll try there if I get a crystal here. If not, I'm going to have to start cycling around or going for paradoxes or something. We'll just see what happens. Alright, I'll see you next time. I spotted it during editing. I know what to do here. I had basically all the operations, but my timing was bad. There's one additional operation I can do before I create this first jar. Check it out. Come here, put this in the water. Since that's dunked in the water, I don't have to put it in my hand. And I will do the block stack thing again to keep this out of my hand, so it can land on top of this. Alright, and now everything else... Oops. Don't do that. Everything else can work the same. Great. Okay. I got this. So yeah, I went down this whole chain of events trying to jar the oobleck, but that's not gonna happen. Okay, so I just need you here. Make a jar. There's your jar number 2. Here's your jar number 1. And I think I just need those 2? Should be. I mean, like, since I can only take one item with me across that cliff, this should make sense. Okay, so we know all these steps. Do this. Exit. Take this into this jar. I don't even remember why I do some of these steps, but just I know that they will lead me where I need to be. Yeah, so that whole discovery of how I can't make this wet then dry then wet and get the key out or something, however it was. I don't know, I had some plan there, it didn't work. Okay, so do this, return to this chest while it's wet. This block goes back up there, does it? I think that's right. Hold on, what am I doing from this point? So I'm getting the oobleck chest into here when it's wet. Yeah, okay, so after I do this, I make a jar. I didn't have to carry that block up at that time, but it's fine that I did. Alright, so ditch this oh, no. Not quite. I bring this in here. So dry jar comes in here. Yeah, you just stay there. Wet one comes out with me. And that's the one I take. Alright, so wet oobleck comes out. Kinda. So wet oobleck factory here. Careful. So oobleck factory turns into block factory. I had all that right. Yes, go into the chest. I just need 2. I was going up there to try to get some more downward momentum, but it doesn't quite work that way underwater. Alright, so duplicate. Get the right block here. Stack it up so that when I enter the dry, this will already be stacked. Yeah, that just felt a little too intentional to not be the way to do that. Okay, so oobleck comes with me. And just sits down here in this dry jar and will become a key. Perfect. Everything's great. Everything's great. What a beautiful puzzle. Ah, I like this one a lot. That extra little tricky step. It's pretty good. Alright, you are now a key. And I now have a crystal here. So no paradoxes in this level. This level is completely done now. Great. Borrow crystal. Hey, check it out. A day out. A day out? Alright. Wonder if that'll have a different, like, tile style. Like, I'll leave the Ice Palace and be somewhere else. Maybe. Alright, cool. So whole new zone is open. That's fantastic. And borrow is done. Just got 1, 2, 3, 4 more crystals to get here in the first zone. I really want to peek in here, but I'm going to resist. Alright, I'll see you next time to look at Low Tide.